More bad breaking news here on the Dallas Cowboys Report. The COVID outbreak continues for the Cowboys. Now head coach Mike McCarthy is out against the New Orleans Saints. The Cowboys have announced today that McCarthy has tested positive for COVID-19. There was also a report from Adam Schefter as part of this that there are up to 8 other positives, although there's a different report from Josina Anderson that there are no other known positive tests. So I'm not sure if Schefter is mentioning the other recent positive tests or if there's more still coming for the Cowboys. I certainly hope it is the former. But the big news right now is that McCarthy will now be unable to coach against the New Orleans Saints. Although I will make this point, and I'm somewhat serious here. Why can't you just put him in a giant bubble? Go full-fledged bubble boy, hermetically sealed. Why can't you do that? What's stopping you from a spread perspective? If it can't get out, then he's fine, as long as he's not really, really sick. I'm just throwing that out there as a actually kind of serious suggestion, because if it's sealed, he's safe. Don't look at me, Sam. I'm kind of right on this one. I think the common thread right now should be, I hate the COVID. I'm over this, because this is a major outbreak right now for the Dallas Cowboys, and I am not a fan of it, and it's making life difficult on the Cowboys when they're already dealing with injury problems, and they have to find a way to win football games right now. So type in F in the chat to tell the COVID to F off as well. Very clearly, and this is a problem for Dallas, they have an outbreak right now. I believe the number is now 12 players and coaches in the past week and a half have tested positive. There's a heavy coaching outbreak right now. As a reminder, the entire coaching staff is vaccinated, which means this is a rather particular breakthrough strain Dallas is dealing with, and that's certainly not a good thing either. It's not good for Dallas, and I'm focused a lot more on the on-the-field side of it than making sure everyone's healthy, but I think we all know that's how I feel too. Because you're down significant coaches now. You're finally getting back Amari Cooper, I would assume, today for Dallas. The team says they're going to practice later today. Still, that's their game plan. I mean, they'll get the test results back in the very near future. They haven't already, so hopefully no more positive test results for Dallas. But this throws a wrench in their game planning and their practice schedule and everything. It makes what is already, I think, a very difficult time of the year, these 3 games in 12 days, it makes it even tougher on the Cowboys. Despite all of that, despite all that adversity and struggles and drama they're facing right now, they got to win this football game. The Cowboys have to beat the Saints. If you can't beat a, I don't think, very good Saints team right now, you're still going to win the NFC East. We saw the Eagles. I warned you guys. But if you can't beat the Saints, I'm not sure I can really take you seriously as a legitimate contender this year. So will the Cowboys do that? Today's video is going to be our preview. We'll bump that back a little bit because, of course the Cowboys are dealing with that right now. Will they beat New Orleans? Y for yes, N for no. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, head down to the comment section and type your responses. Now, you're still, of course, looking for an interim head coach. This has not been officially named as we sit here right now for the Dallas Cowboys. But I think there are actually 4 potential options. First up, and we'll spend some time on each of these guys, Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator, and you can just bounce back and forth with me full screen here, Jack, too. Kellen Moore, Dan Quinn, John Fossil, Rob Davis, the assistant head coach. Let's start with the least likely. I think that's Rob Davis. I think he'll have a bigger role for the Cowboys. He's kind of the right-hand man to Mike McCarthy. I don't want to call him the hype guy, but he kind of fits in that category a little bit there. Then I think the next least likely option, you're not going to like it, is Kellen Moore. I know many of you want a Kellen Moore trial game as head coach, and I get that. I think the Cowboys might just let Kellen Moore run the offense. You be in charge of that. Don't worry about making a bunch of key decisions, being the CEO, walk-around guy. Don't worry about that. You run the offense. Now, make no mistake, this will be a collaborative effort for the entire Cowboys coaching staff without Kellen Moore. The 2 names that I think maybe make the most sense are Dan Quinn, who, of course, has NFL head coach experience, so we know he can do that particular role, and I think the favorite, frankly, is John Fossil to the team's interim head coach. Fossil has handled that role in the past back with the Rams in 2016, and think about it from this perspective. What it does is it allows you to let your coordinators do their job, and we'll come back to that more in depth in a minute, but I do want you guys I think the big three, the coordinators, offense, defense, special teams, who do you want as the interim head coach? Type KM for Kellen Moore, type in DQ for Dan Quinn, or type in JF for John Fossil. Now, as a game man, I'm putting my money on Fossil to be the interim head coach. We will see if that ends up being the case. I don't think the Cowboys will rush into any decision since you can still work remote with Mike McCarthy for the time being. Fossil has the interim head coach experience, and oh, by the way, this allows you to let your offense and defensive coordinators focus on those things. Allow Kellen Moore to call the plays. Maybe you're heavily involving Kellen Moore with when to go for it on fourth down versus not. Maybe you're allowing Dan Quinn to have some input there as well. I think it allows you to let your coordinators do their job and let Fossil run point on the CEO-style stuff, and he's already so heavily involved in the fourth down decisions in terms of punting or not as well. What I'm saying is the Cowboys have some options here. This could be a lot worse of a situation if you maybe had a head coach that was also your play caller. That wouldn't be ideal for Dallas, but they have options in what is, make no mistake, an unideal situation. So we'll see what the decision ends up being for the interim head coach. I would gamble on Fossil, but I don't know that for certain. What I do know for sure is there is a fantastic deal with our friends over at Fanatics. 20% off all, or almost all, of their deals. It is Cyber Monday, after all, so head over to chatsports.com/Cowboys. That will take you to a link of all the different sale items on Fanatics right now. Plus, you can get an additional 20% off on a lot of those items. They've got everything you want, from perfect gifts this holiday season to some cornhole if you want to spend big, replica helmets as well, hoodies, t-shirts. There's a ton of great stuff. Perfect gifts for yourself or for a loved one this holiday season. Chatsports.com/Cowboys. That link will be in both the comment section and in the description. Let's go back now to the Mike McCarthy COVID news. What is your one-word reaction to McCarthy being out now against the New Orleans Saints? Limit it to one word. Let me know what you think in the comments section. My one word, unreal. This is brutal for the Cowboys. They continue to deal with a fairly significant COVID outbreak, and maybe it's not just bad luck, but I'm going to call it bad luck. This is insane. The Cowboys have dealt with more COVID issues than any team in the NFL this year. In the past 11 days, 12 different players and coaches have gone into the COVID protocol, the entire strength and conditioning staff. Joe Philbin, the O-line coach. Jeff Blasco, the assistant O-line coach. Scott Tolzien, one of the offensive assistants. Now Mike McCarthy. 3 receivers. Amari Cooper, practice squad receiver Robert Foster, injured receiver TJ Vasher, injured tight end Blake Jarwin, and then Terrence Steele yesterday. I hope this ends soon. I don't know if that's going to be the case, though, for Dallas. We will continue to update you guys with everything going on around America's team every single day. Free videos for you guys here on the Cowboys Report. So if you haven't already, subscribe. Right now we're getting closer and closer to doubling up the Washington football team's actual YouTube channel. This is the remaining schedule for Dallas. Now, you play on Thursday night this week, part of that very tough and brutal timeline. I hate this 12-game stretch. It feels like Dallas never actually plays all that well. Then they continue their road game stretch. They are at Washington, week 14, at the Giants, week 15. A decent little break going from Thursday night to a Sunday game. That should help people get healthy and maybe kind of help bail on this COVID outbreak thing they're dealing with right now. Then again, Washington, prime time. Sunday Night Football could be, by the way, the game that Dallas officially clinches the NFC East. That week 15, week 16 feels like a good timeline. You guys were so worried about the Eagles, and they lost to the Giants. Come on, they're not that good. I'm sorry. Arizona, week 17, that's going to be a tough game. And then at Philly in a game that Dallas might not be playing for anything, really, to wrap up the season. Now, my hope right now is that this is the end of the positive tests for the Dallas Cowboys as it relates to COVID-19. Because if this continues to go on, you're going to be out some significant players and or coaches, and it just makes things even tougher on a team that is already struggling. I would be lying to you if I said I was not worried that this is the end of it. I think that is a concern right now for Dallas with the way the virus spreads. Hopefully it stops. If not, well, we'll be back again tomorrow with another video.